in Johannesburg. How's it going? How y'all doing? I'm debuting this shirt, which may be the only time you ever see me wear this shirt. Not because it's a Lions jersey, but because of what it says on it. Don't know if you can see that, but it says "Make your dreams come true" in Afrikaans, and it's signed by Yanni Duplessis. Wow. All right, now only one person here, so this is going to come up repeatedly in this broadcast. You watch. Don't hold your breath. People are going to keep asking, "What's that say on your jersey?" Anyway, while we wait for a couple seconds, why not a little Barbara rhubarb?
Es war einmal in einem kleinen Städtchen, da lebte ein Mädchen namens Barbara. Und diese Barbara war im ganzen Land für ihren Papa Barbara. Lebte ein Mädchen namens Barbara. Und diese Barbara war im ganzen Land für ihren Papa Barbara. Lebte ein Mädchen namens.
Well, that's all messed up. The video started playing on my stream. So let's go back and start that again. There's still only one person here, so we've done no damage. Here we go. Lebte ein Mädchen named Barbara.
Es war einmal in einem kleinen Städtchen, da lebte ein Mädchen namens Barbara. Und diese Barbara war im ganzen Land für ihren abartig guten Rhabarberkuchen bekannt. Ja, man konnte sagen, dass Barbaras Rhabarberkuchen ohne Wenn und Aber gar eine geradezu magische Erfahrung war. Aber Kadabra! Ja, dieser Kuchen war geradezu bombastisch. Und die Nachfrage danach erstarkte drastisch. Barbara eröffnete noch im selben Jahr eine
Barbara eröffnete noch im selben Jahr ein Restaurant. Barbara cooking. Hey folks, welcome back to the program. This was Chris live in Northcliffe in Johannesburg, up from KZN. Listen, it's been an epic day, and it was just a travel day. I started my day off this morning at John and Paula Tunge's home in Howick. Lovely people. John, the founder of the Drakensberg Boys Choir back in the 1960s. 88 years of age now. John and I did an interview, and we've got a little bit of an announcement. That will be edited and probably go up over the weekend. I'll put John's interview up. So it was great to see him and Paula in Howick. From there, I drove down in the horrific traffic, as always. That construction and all those trucks misbehaving, disobeying the traffic signs. I mean, there's a round sign. There's two trucks, big X through it. You cannot pass. What do? Going 40 kilometers an hour. They pull out in front of people going 120. Unbelievable. Anyway, so yeah, that was brutal. But I made good time. An hour and 35 minutes down to the airport, and then checked in. Got the car turned in. No problems there. Checked in for the flight. Got a little nosh at Figo, Cafe Figo, and then got on the plane. Flew up. Plane was a bit late. Got to Joburg, only to find out that I was double booked for cars, and I prepaid, so I'm out some money. Kindly, the lady who was working there said, you shouldn't have to pay for this, but I need some information, so we had to look up emails, and it took a while, so I was out of there a bit later than I expected, but turns out it was just as well, because the car that they had reserved for me wasn't there, so it had to be clean. Anyway, so long story short, I zipped around Joburg, hit the traffic just right at like 3:30 before the evening rush and after the lunchtime rush, and went all the way around Joburg, the north side, past Rivonia Road, and that side of town, all the way back down to Byers Nowadays, and got down here to Northcliffe and showed up here. This lovely jersey, which Chris Marie arranged for me and was signed by none other than Yanni Duplessis. Of course, his brother Bismarck is also a famous rugby player. Yeah, so I got that, and this evening I'm going to some high school rugby, Randburg and another team, and that's going to be, so this will be a brief broadcast about an hour long, and then out of here hey Marilyn, as I hit the road to go to the rugby this evening. So anyway, let me take a quick little swig of this Coca-Cola in plastic, not that Heje Mexico, but here in South Africa, so at least it's not high fructose corn syrup. It's a real thing. I'd like to buy the world of Coke and keep it company and keep it perfect harmony. Anyway, that's how it went back in the day. So, but let me just tell you what happened at the airport. Oh my goodness, it's unbelievable. So at OR Tambo, I landed at OR Tambo, right? And I am one of the first off the plane because I sat in the front row. And the guy in front of me has a hearing aid. He took a picture of me on the plane because it was the same plane that was chartered for the Springboks from Fly Saf Air. So they still have the stickers they put up in the front of the plane where all the Springbok players signed it. I can make out Vincent Kalk. I can make out Frans Malherbe and a couple of others, but some of them I have no idea what they say. Anyway, so I get off the plane. The guy in front of me keeps walking, and he walks by. I'm like, I want to go left here, but the door was shut, and he walked far enough away that it didn't automatically open. So I stopped and I wait a second. People behind me walked towards the door, and it did open. And I said, hey, this is the way out. The point of telling you this story is that kept me from getting to the luggage carousel as quickly as I would have gotten. So I want to make sure he didn't wander down the hallway. So he came back and I walked out. So I walked down and I get to the escalator and a gentleman comes up, lady. She goes first. I let her go first. And he stops at the top of the escalator. He goes, I know you. And I said, possibly. I'm Chris Wyatt. He goes, yeah, you interviewed me. And I'm thinking, the face is familiar. Who is this? I'm Bram van Straten. Springbok Bram van Straten met me at the airport just like that. He was coming in from Bloemfontein, or going to Bloemfontein. He's up from PE. Wow, that was unbelievable. So Bram van Straten and I met. How random is that? Only because I have been delayed those seconds. The chance encounters. Remember, there's this movie with what's her name? What's the hottie there? Who's the Blythe Danner's daughter? I can't think of her name right now. But anyway, she did this movie called Sliding Doors back in the day. And just a chance encounter, just a split second, how fate goes a different way. Well, I mean, if I had just walked straight to the carousel and let that guy go instead of doing a good deed, I never would have run into Bram van Straten at the top of that escalator at that moment, at that point in history. A man I interviewed previously twice about the Bermuda Tens and also about his career as a Springbok and what happened to the Southern Kings. So, yeah, that was pretty cool. We took a selfie. I shared it in the travel group. And so I saw Bram van Straten. How epic is that, ladies and gentlemen? And how cool is that to be recognized? Now, I can't say it's somebody I didn't know because I've interviewed Bram van Straten before, but to be recognized at OR Tambo by a Springbok, and I didn't recognize him. That is epic. That's hectic. That's South Africa, man. It's so cool. And then I went to the carousel to collect my bags. And I saw some lady there. She had a jacket and said Comrades on it. And I didn't see her sleeve. I did after I said something. And I said, hey, did you write a Comrades? She goes, yeah. I said, did you finish? And I looked down and I said, no, you got to finish your jacket on. She goes, yeah, I finished. I said, congratulations. And she said, thank you so much. And so I asked if I could take a selfie with her. And I shared that in the group. She's from Zimbabwe, from Bulawayo. And she finished the race. So I'm going to interview her. She gave me her number. And I'll be doing that at some point. So how cool is that? I met a Comrades completion candidate, someone who actually finished the race, a veteran of the Comrades that just ran, and Bram van Straten at the OR Tambo Airport. How random is that? So cool, folks. All right, let me get to the chat. And then we're going to talk about coalitions and what's going on in South Africa, because it is bat crap crazy, ladies and gentlemen. It is just all over the place, and all the parties who ran their mouths and stuck their race hustling out there now are eating crow because they realize that 10 o'clock tomorrow, just a little over 12 hours away. That's what, 17 hours from now, they will be sitting in Parliament and they must pick a president and a speaker and a deputy speaker. So lots of work to be done between now and then. Freelance Kate saw Ronaldo's member of Parliament access card. I don't get one of those. Okay, so Salem's Cave, good afternoon. Garrett Gillich, Dylan Combrick, Awkward Leon, George Steinberg, George and Heckport. There's our man. There's our meet and greet guy. Marilyn Brokenshaw, call me Novak. Well, there you are. We missed you at the meet and greet. Freelance Kate, PK, how about we all stop signing up for war to die for politicians? We all know we don't care about people. Why are we willing to die for them? Well, PK, I didn't sign up for war. I signed up to defend my nation, and I did it. Unfortunately, it came with conflict on more than one occasion, but most of my 37 years were not in conflict. Vilma is late? No, I don't think you're really that late. We started just before you came. Dear Piper takes something warm with it. It'll be freezing. I do have. I'm not going to wear this jersey. This is a collector's item now. This is signed by Yanni Duplessis. I'm not wearing this. This is debuting tonight, and I'm going to be wearing this tonight. My Bulls hoodie. Picked up from Loftus last week. I'll be wearing that tonight. Yep. Lord Convener says good evening. Good evening to you, JP Treckmeyer. Yep. Just goes to show you don't be crossed about delays. Works all. Well, according to the universe, that was what was supposed to happen. That moment in time. And you're right. If we haven't been delayed as long as delayed, what are the odds? What are the odds? Do the math. I mean, if Sheldon were here, can we do the math? I would like to. Sheldon and Leonard's mom would do the math. They would do the math and go, X over Y, this way. And they would come up with the math and the probabilities of my flight from Durban on that day and Bram van Straten coming up from P on the same day, crossing paths, my flight being delayed, so that I run into him, and then it's incalculable. It's kismet. It was meant to happen. Love this just because it's so true to life. Glad you enjoyed. Oh, PK, absolutely loved it. Fantastic. Monterey Seaper says, good afternoon from Cape Town. Well, good evening from the High Felt. This is Chris live in Northcliffe in Johannesburg, and a lovely, beautiful, stunning day. I'll tell you what, folks, South Africans, somebody should get a hold of the weather guru and tell him to just hang out with Chris Wyatt, because I bring good weather to South Africa anyway. I get that, but how are the politicians who create war in not foreground? My dad died fighting for war that changed nothing and destroyed our family. PK, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm so sorry to hear that. It's tragic. I fought in wars that did change things for the better. The Gulf War, the Balkans, and a few other conflicts, and they did change things for the better. I didn't want to fight in war. I didn't ask to fight in war. That's not why I signed up. But sometimes it's necessary when deterrence fails. But I signed up to deter miscreants from misbehaving, and sometimes it doesn't always work. Okay, so I'm sorry to hear that, PK, but I'm glad you're here. 9, lost your German more than a century ago, unfortunately, but gained Afrikaans. Oh, yeah, Dreckmeyer. That's a very German name. Who do you think will be present tomorrow and deputy president? Do you think they'll be from Nancy? Freelance Kate, I have a very serious concern. If it isn't, it's going to be a massive news story tomorrow. If Cyril Ramaphosa isn't elected president tomorrow, that will be the news story of the year. Not just in South Africa, but it'll be a big news story over the world. I fear it will be Cyril Ramaphosa. And I believe that probably the DA and the IFP have done a drug deal to let him remain in office as president. So I think that's what's going to happen tomorrow. Deputy president. But I mean, as I said, the smart money should be Hlabisa. Hlabisa should be the president. Should be the president, hands down. Johannes van der Merwe, what's Bram up to these days? Well, he's coaching rugby. Johannes, we talked briefly as we went down the escalator and at the carousel when we waited for our bags. We were on different carousels. And he's coaching. He's going to Bloem to do some coaching down there. So that's awesome. Last time we chatted, he was at the Bermuda 10s, and I was supposed to go down there, but the COVID scam kept me from getting there. It was too difficult to do. And he actually was called into the game to kick because the kicker was injured. And at his advanced stage, Bram van Straten slotted the kick through and won the game for his Bermuda 10s team. That's pretty cool. Muriel says, hey, how's it going? Justin, good evening. How's Cape Town? Mr. C, yay, Chris, started following you and loving the chat. Shout out from Cape Town from a fellow Chris Wall. Hey, Chris, welcome to you. I love it. Thank you for your dad's service, Funk Dunk says to PK. Yep, see, some people do appreciate it, PK. It just doesn't show. Don't the ANC still have most of the votes? Most don't matter. You have to have 50 plus 1%. So you can have all the most votes in the world, but 50 plus 1 is what you need, ladies and gentlemen, in order to succeed and get legislation passed and get your candidate passed. So the ANC could have 20% of the votes. So look, tomorrow, Velenkotsini Hlabisa could be nominated as the candidate for president and win, even though his party only has 4% of the vote total and 17 positions in parliament. People just need to vote for him. That's how it works. It's a parliamentary system. So I would hope that's the case, but I doubt that the ANC and the DA will be humble enough. So don't be shocked to see if John Steenhuisen becomes the Speaker of Parliament or the Deputy President. So we'll see. Justin, I agree they won't give it up. And I also agree that Ramaphosa is not going to go anywhere. But don't get excited. This government may not last long. It's a parliamentary system. It just takes a call for a vote of no confidence, and boom, the government falls. They have to vote in the parliament. If they can't reach, then they have to go to a national vote. So don't get too excited. This bumpy ride isn't over yet. The roller coaster has still got plenty of spins and turns in it. Would you ever consider immigrating to South Africa once we're a stable country? GB, it's not a question of stable country. It's a question of some other things. I honestly, because of my financial acumen, because of my hard work, my entrepreneurialism, I could live like a king in South Africa. Absolutely live like a king. Yeah. Miro says, so what's happening? Well, we don't have any updates this hour other than a few little things to talk about here. ANC allies, COSATU, and the South African Communist Party slammed the lack of consultation and secretive handling of the KZN coalition talks. Well, the South African Communist Party, the South African National Civic Organization, and COSATU in KZN have registered their dissatisfaction with provincial ANC leaders over the lack of consultation. You know what? South African Communist Party, you know what? COSATU, you are irrelevant. Your hold on political power, your influence is waning and disappearing. And you can hear the death throes and the moaning like crying little babies from those organizations who feel they're owed something. You're owed nothing. You are roadblocks in the road to progress. You are part of the reason why this country is in a crapper. Communist and trade unions, who claim to look out for the needs and wants of your union members when you're really just doing it for the grift. Let's be honest about that. So they're angry. Well, here's the reality, folks. The National Freedom Party is the spanner in the works. It's the monkey wrench in the gears. It is the oil in your water. It is the crapper in your microwave. That's a very bad image. The imagery of that's quite bad. The National Freedom Party. Oh, they're having a press conference right now. Okay, let's see if I can find that real quick. National Freedom, because they are the kingmaker with one vote, and I'll explain why in a moment here. Let me look first. National Freedom, PARTY. Come on. Press conference. Okay, let me see if I can find it. Let's see. IFP. Nope, I can't find it here. No, I can't find it. Let me go to SABC News and see if they're covering it. So, oh, here it is. All right, here it is. I'll get it up. Let's see what they got to say.
Okay. Anyone?
I guess they've already spoken.
I know you, my brother. You may come.
All right, so they're meeting. So the DA, the IFP, and the ANC have 40 votes in the parliament, KZN, in the national provincial legislature. MK 37, EFF 2 is 39, NFP is 1, that's 40. So if they go with MK, then it's a 40-40 split, and there's no majority there. So I can't hear the question being asked by the press. They're sitting up on the stage right now, so we'll wait for his answer here. I can't hear what he's saying.
Okay. Any other questions? We did have a meeting with the IFP. We did speak about local government, and we agreed in principle that we do need to relook local government. I want to set the record straight. We do have a working relationship with the IFP in various municipalities, and that's known. We do have a working relationship with the ANC in various local municipalities, and that's known. But we had to first deal with the issue of reconciliation between the IFP and the NFP. And we agreed in principle that after everything that has been done in terms of electing the president, electing the premier, establishment of the cabinet, establishment of the executive, then this group of leaders need to come and sit down and now redress the issues of local government. We do have our vested interest in certain municipalities, but we all put it to a halt to focus on the establishment of a GNU and a PGU.
So which is it? Provincial Government Union. Okay, they will join. The NFP will join the IFP ANC DA coalition to form majority. So that's the outcome of this. It's live, but it's been reported on News 24 that NFP has decided and reported in this press conference that they will be joining the coalition to keep the MK out in KZN. Wow. Wow. This is after I criticized them earlier today.
Agreed in the meeting that we will have to discuss the issue who leads. There was no name that was given at who's going to be the premier, but we agreed on the political parties.
They had issues with the IFP premier,
gaining.
which is ridiculous. Everyone else thought it was fine.
We said the IFP would become a premier. We agreed that the speaker would come from the ANC, the deputy speaker would come from the DA. No names were attached.
Yeah.
But our meeting with the IFP was the beginning of a process of reconciliation. Reconciliation is a process.
Between NFP and IFP.
Yes. That was loud and clear. The last hand. In the absence of hand, may I request
let's close.
Chairperson of...
We're going to wrap it up here then, looks like.
Come and close. Close. Yes. The session.
Wow, so there you have it, folks. That's pretty wild. I can still hear their microphone. They think they're whispering and nobody can hear them. The National Freedom Party has spoken. They are going to join the historic coalition.
At the end, we want to thank you.
All right, that's the end of that. So there's just not much going to go on there. So the National Freedom Party has agreed to join the coalition to keep MK and EFF out of control of KwaZulu-Natal. Ladies and gentlemen, I have warned you. I have warned you that you should be prepared. I'm not saying something's going to happen, but if you haven't checked your radios, charge them. If you haven't done a test of your radio network, if you haven't talked to your security wardens, if you have not checked your pool to make sure it's full, if you have not checked your JoJo's to make they're full, if you have not ensured you have rations and water and bullets and flame retardant material, then you have made a serious mistake. So this is not Cassandra. I'm not Senior von Rensburg in this. I'm not a crazy person whose last name begins with an R making a claim that something's going to happen. But I am telling you that now MK is going to be quite pissed off. MK is going to be very, 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 very pissed off about this development, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to rename this stream after it's over. But this is just something else. This is, I'm telling you, you are going to see some very pissed off MK members. And I'll tell you why, because they think that rightly, in their mind, they should be governing KwaZulu-Natal. After all, they got 45% of the vote. But ladies and gentlemen, you can't rule 45% unless you convince people to go along with you. So, the IFP, the second largest party in KZN with 18% of the vote. The ANC, the third largest party in KZN with 17% of the vote. The DA, the fourth largest party with 13%. And the NFP with just a single seat in the 80-seat legislature have formed a coalition which gives them 41 seats to the 37 that MK has. And MK is out of the running. Woo! Jay-Z is going to be fit to be tied, ladies and gentlemen. MK supporters are going to complain. All day today, I had people coming on my videos when I talked about what was going to happen down there. And this is a coalition that I said was possible, and it wasn't hard to predict. But anyway, it looks like I got it right, fortunately. But a lot of people said, this isn't fair. One gentleman said, I'm a black DA supporter. It's unfair. MK won the majority. I'm sorry, sir. They didn't win the majority. MK did not win a majority anywhere. They won a plurality. A plurality. A majority is 50 plus 1. A plurality is more than the other parties. They won more than the other parties, but not enough. And they can't find a coalition partner that's willing to go into a government with them. Therefore, they've been outsmarted or outaced by the other parties. But to be fair to MK, they got 45% of the vote in KZN. That's incredibly impressive. Incredibly impressive. But the game is over. The jig is up. So get ready. Get ready. Well, even if they join with EFF, it doesn't matter, Muriel. EFF has 2 seats. But here's the irony. So MK obliterated the EFF in KZN. The EFF was destroyed. They have nothing in KZN. They have 2 members out of 80. 2 out of 80. That's almost nothing. They were destroyed. They lost so many supporters to MK. The irony is MK took EFF supporters, and they still don't have enough to get over 50%. So, this is an interesting development here. What a turn of events. Indeed, it is a turn of events. We go now live to KwaZulu-Natal, to Phoenix. Hello, my name is Chris Wyatt, and I am in Phoenix. I'm standing here in front of a mostly peaceful protest. Pay attention to those burning buildings behind me. Notice how I conflate Waukesha, Wisconsin with Phoenix. Woo! Anyway, yeah, no, folks, interesting times ahead indeed. We have very interesting times. Very interesting times. It is, listen, South Africa is nothing if not interesting. You got to give it that. Whether you're from South Africa or you're from elsewhere, you have got to admit that this country is interesting. There's always something crazy going on. And tonight, we have a new coalition. Oops, I've got company. Oh, I've got company here. No, I don't have company. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. No. Anyway, so yeah, the National Freedom Party, a splinter group which broke away from Inkatha years ago and used to have 651,000 votes and is down to just a handful of votes, but retains 1 seat, became the kingmaker. Now, just because they've said they're going to do that doesn't mean this will survive. This coalition could fall apart very quickly, and the NFP or ANC could go join MK. But what this tells you, ladies and gentlemen, let me be the first analyst to tell you what's really going on here. What this tells you is what I've said all along. I've said this all along. The ANC, as long as Ramaphosa is in charge of it, will never, ever go into a government with MK, and they'll avoid one at all costs with EFF. And that's what's happened here. Notice EFF wasn't invited to the party. They weren't invited to the party. They are marginalized. They are a nothing burger in KZN. They have 2 votes, 1 more than the National Freedom Party, but you notice that they didn't go join this coalition. The National Freedom Party did. So will there be reconciliation between the ANC, IFP, and NFP? It sounds like we might be on a path for that to happen. Well, things are happening here, folks. Never a dull moment. I can never take a break because it just keeps on rolling. By the way, did anybody notice my shirt? My shirt says, make your dreams come true in Afrikaans. Droom va. And it's signed by Yanni Duplessis. How cool is that? Yes, Sibonga Nuxmalo. I just covered that, brother. That's what we're talking about here. Thank you for sharing that. That's part of the broadcast. I'm going to change the title when I'm done. So we were talking about that. What else? So as I said, COSATU and the South African National Civic Organization, SANCO, as well as the South African Communist Party, SACP, very angry that they weren't part of those conversations. Now, the IFP gave the Government of National Unity its thumbs up yesterday. So will the DA do that tonight or tomorrow? We will have to wait and see, ladies and gentlemen. We'll have to wait and see. The clock is ticking here. Your shirt is cool. Disinvolved. Yeah, it is. It's so cool, man. And it's a URC one, too. It's a URC. So Yanni Duplessis. So now I got to get Yanni's number so I can interview him and thank him for signing my jersey. By the way, for those tuning in late, I was at the airport at OR Tambo, and I got delayed, and I wound up walking down the escalator exact same time that a gentleman stopped me at the top of the escalator after his partner or wife or whoever she was went ahead and said, "I know you." And I'm thinking he looks familiar. I said, "Well, I'm Chris Wyatt." He goes, "Yeah, you interviewed me. I'm Bram van Straten." No way. No way. Springbok legend Bram van Straten met me on the escalator at OR Tambo going down to collect our bags on the what is that thing called? The belt. Yeah, the conveyor belt. Yeah. And then I met a young lady from Zimbabwe who finished the comrades. It was awesome. By the way, the Western Cape High Court has also dismissed Jabulani Kumalo's bid to be sworn in tomorrow. So he's done. So what's he going to do now, man? Where's the government helping Eastern Cape? NGOs are helping first. Well, NGOs are helping everywhere. Private citizens are helping everywhere. Farmers helping, historically disadvantaged farmers when the government does nothing. Gavin Grant says, no MK and KZN, and that's going to ruffle some feathers. Indeed, Gavin. Make sure your water's there, your food's there, your bullets are secured, and you've done briefings, and you're ready to do patrols. Mr. Farr 007, shaken, not stirred. What are the chances Zuma will be charged with sedition if violence kicks off? Oh, I think this time it's very good. I think it's very good. When the Bulls are winning, the Bucks are winning. Nelson Mandela. Johan Visser, good to see you there. Siv says COSATU and SSCP can go to hell. I agree. Boer outfiltrationist taxes, government extortion. It is. Right. Your shirt is cool and disva. It's true. Yeah, thank you, PK. What else here? Siabonga Noxmalo just said what I confirmed. Sure was completely brainless. Apparently not. Oh, Cyril. No, Cyril might be one of the most clever. We think Jacob Zuma is clever, but Cyril might be the clever one here in the end. But where is my iPod? Hey, Siv, I just got out of Durban. Talk about good timing. I just flew out of Durban a couple hours ago. I landed at OR Tambo at about 2:30. I just got out of KZN in time. My timing has been pretty good, folks. Last year in the taxi strike in the Western Cape, I was coming back from Wellington, and the GPS routed me through Mitchell's Plains. It's fine. I've been through Mitchell's Plains before. But they were attacking Coca-Cola delivery trucks 2 blocks away from where I was going through, where the high school kids were getting out of school. So I escaped that. And then I had to go to the airport, and they murdered the British doctor because he went the wrong way. I went the right way. Yeah, so I think somebody upstairs is smiling on me sometimes, but I've just gotten out of KZN. Now I'm safe for the moment. Yep, I'm here. Yep. A bit of anticlimax for MK supporters. Oh, I agree. Yep. So Neil says, so what's next? Well, what's next is, will MK behave itself and be the government in opposition to KZN, or is it going to act like petulant children and dance around and act the fool and cause chaos? I am inclined to say they're not going to do the latter. I'm inclined to say they're not going to resort to violence, but that doesn't mean it won't happen. Start looking for your family and community. Stop dying for government. Yeah, exactly. We're going to be very unhappy, MK and KZN. Yeah, Justin, that's the understatement of the afternoon. Is anyone worried? Okay. We have lots of security. That's good. My little cell phone has a radio. Well, you shouldn't rely on cell phones. Networks get saturated. That's why you need radios. That's why you need backup means of communication. When are the people going to realize politicians use it? Well, we realize it. We know that. PK, we got that. Ease up, brother. Get in the conversation. Talk about something else. Obviously, we know that you don't like the government. That's cool. They did cry about the election. Oh, of course they did, Justin, because they knew this was coming. They knew that if they didn't get the majority in KZN, they wouldn't roll anywhere. So that's why they were upset. That's why they made deal. MK never had a plan. No. They didn't have a plan. They don't even have a proper list to send people to the provincial legislature or to the Gauteng legislature or to the national government. Siabonga said, I'm Zulu. There isn't going to be any war. Relax. I just said that I don't think there's going to be one. Didn't I say that, Siabonga? I just said I think it's unlikely. However, on June 29th of 2021, I predicted what happened afterwards. Just like in November 2021, I predicted ANC would fall between 38 and 42%. And I nailed it. Nailed it 2.5 years before it happened. 2.5 years. Ask my audience. They know I predicted that. Yep. Now, the one I got wrong was MK. But that was because it was a new kid on the block. The polls were all over the place. And so I said the best prediction I could possibly do is they would be the largest party in KZN, but I thought they'd get about 35%, not 45%. I was really impressed by that. And I said they would fall between 7 and 13%, depending on how well they did in Gauteng. Well, they got 10% in Gauteng. They got 18% in Mpumalanga, which surprised me. I didn't think it'd be that high. So that's probably accounts for why they're over. But that's the only one I came close to really missing. Yep. Yep. The Chinese curse. May you live in interesting times. Yeah. A vodka martini. Siabonga, whereabouts are you from, brother? Where are you about? Error 404 MK not found. Ooh. GB says you're the man. Found out today I'm doing work for KZN NPC today. I'm sure the DA coalition is going through. Yep. Siabunga, where, if you don't mind, I mean, if it's a secret, you can keep it to yourself. But if you don't mind telling us where you're at, I usually ask some of my audience members where they're at. Thanks for tuning in, by the way, and for subscribing to the channel. Yeah, no, look, people want to make this out to be a Zulu thing. It's not a Zulu thing. It is, but it isn't a Zulu thing, if you know what I mean. Newcastle. Hey, Siabunga, well, if you're near Joburg, I'll be having another meet and greet or two while I'm in Gauteng. I'm here till the 19th. And I'll be having another meet and greet or two while I'm in this area, either here and in Pretoria. You're welcome to come to it if you like, if you can make it. MK was popular because of Zoom. It was a good thing because they took ANC majority with. No, I get your point, but that's not correct. The MK did not take the ANC's majority away. That's not why they lost their majority. No, it simply doesn't hold water. MK got 2.3 million votes. 300,000 of those they poached from the EFF, who they destroyed in KZN. They're a non-factor in KZN now. 300,000 votes from the EFF, who declined from 10.87 to 9.5 as a party. So that's 300,000. That takes me down to 2 million. Of the 2 million that are left, at least 900,000 of those people are people who had given up on voting. They may have been former ANC voters, but they didn't vote in municipal elections. They weren't planning on voting again, but they were inspired and they were driven to vote by MK. So they got about 1.1 million votes, in my view, on their own that they took from the ANC. So ANC lost 4 million votes. 1.1 million votes was not enough to cost them a majority. That was not enough to cost a majority. 4 million votes was a disaster. 4 million votes. So if you add 4 million votes to that, they're going to add over 10%, and they would have made it. So anyway, look at the numbers, not percent from the parties. I looked at the raw numbers. I just said that. 6.4 million. Down from 10.4 million. MK took 2.3 million. They didn't take enough votes to drive ANC below. ANC drove itself below. ANC voters did not vote for other people by and large. Some voted for MK, but not most. Most just didn't go vote. And look at the numbers here, PK. Look at the Eastern Cape. What was the turnout in the Eastern Cape? What was the voter turnout in the Eastern Cape, folks? Can somebody tell me? 50.4% or 50.8%. Only half the population, Justin saying hi to his mom, who's just above him there, only half the registered population. That's registered voters. 27 million registered voters. And in the Eastern Cape, the stronghold of the ANC, only 50% of the voters came out. The vast majority of voters in that province are normally ANC. MK did not get that many votes there. The votes just didn't materialize, just like in 2021. The reason the IFP went from 9 to 24 municipalities in 2021 wasn't because they did so well. They only gained 2% more votes. That wasn't enough to take over another 15 municipalities. What was enough to take over is they held their ground, and the ANC voters didn't show up, so the ANC's vote total was driven down, which drove up their percentage without increasing their vote. And they took over either through an outright majority, a majority coalition, or a minority coalition. They took over 24 municipalities. And the same thing's happening here. MK is not why ANC lost. ANC lost because they're opaque. They're kleptocrats. They're condescending. They are ineffective. They are arrogant. That's why ANC lost. If MK hadn't been in this race, ANC still would have been below 50%, guaranteed. My prediction was made without MK in the race. Mr. Ant, welcome to you. Siabunga says, thanks for the invite, but sorry, I won't make it. You don't even know where it's at, Siabunga. You don't even know where it's at. Hey, Sia Ngobisi came to my Amazon Toady meet and greet. He's a Zulu. Yeah. Big Daddy Liberty. what they did during the lockdown is very fresh in the minds of the 3 million people who lost their jobs. That's a good point there, Sean Manish. Food prices increase. We'll see. Also, look at the lack of voters. I think most of those who didn't vote would vote. Correct, Ellis. That's my point. It's 100% correct. That's exactly. I'm an analyst, and I've been analyzing elections for a long time. I should get Michael Atkins back on the channel. I tried to find him, but I didn't have his contact, so I have to reach out to him again. Yeah, what they did to us in 2020 and 2021 is very fresh in the minds. Yep, indeed it is. Indeed it is. Yep. No, all the parties have no interest in MK. I voted DA. Okay, PK. My husband and I both lost our businesses due to COVID. See, LS, there you go. Unnecessary. It was unnecessary. The ANC will claim that they try to claim that people are alive because of them. That's quite the opposite. The DA lost votes. PK, okay, so PK, you're late to the party, brother. Thanks for coming to the party. But from the outset, I said only one major party gained votes, the Inkatha Freedom Party. The ANC lost 4 million votes. The DA lost 115,000 votes, but they're down from 4,091,000 in 2014 to 3.6 million in 2019 to 3.5 million in this election. And the EFF lost 300,000 votes, becoming a minus 10% party, below 10%. Only the IFP gained votes, but they gained about 30,000 votes. So, yep. Does anyone know what time? Yeah, Parliament sits at 10 o'clock in the morning. I intend to be broadcasting that if I can find a spot to do it. I may have to come back here to do it. So, looking forward to that. Patrick says, just arrived. Great seeing the tapas. Yay, it was great. Yeah, thanks for being there. Thanks for being there. Patrick, were you there? Just teasing. No, it was yeah, so it will be 10 o'clock tomorrow. I plan to live stream that tomorrow morning. If you're interested, folks, I'll appear on Gareth Cliff at 7:30 local time. So, well, I won't see Ronaldo there because I won't be there. I was going to be there, but instead I'm in Gauteng because they changed the date. So only 80 likes. Hey, Lee Roberts, how's it going? Lee, did you give a super chat last night or last time when I was with Byron? I think you gave a chat when I was with Byron at Sergeant Pepper's, but we couldn't see it. Thank you. PK says they went up last time. No, they are 3.5 million. Okay, dude, let me. I probably said it too fast. So, 2019, the DA 3.6 million. 2024, DA 3.5 million. They didn't go up. Maybe you misunderstood what I said. I might have not enunciated. I doubt all of us are on the same first language, so we have to take that into consideration. Now, the DA lost 115,000 votes. Their percentage went up because so few people voted, 58% turnout nationally, and they got 3 more seats in Parliament by default, just like when the IFP gained 15 municipalities in 2021 municipal elections because nobody voted. The ANC voters stayed home. That's the bottom line there. Look forward to a hopeful future for our country if the DA gets into government. Sorry, I forgot to like. Thank you very much for that. Yes, with Byron for coffee. Thank you for the super chat, Lee. I'm guessing it was probably £2. I didn't get to see it. So Ndonga says, Mulukso Khlangwa must be Speaker of National Assembly. Why? You've laid a marker out there. Why should that person be the Speaker of the National Assembly? That's what I thought. I just checked now, and it's yeah. Well, okay. So yeah, PK. Here's another thing. So the vote totals got a little bit of change over a course of a week here. The numbers went up for a number of parties, but one of the problems, if you look at the votes on the IEC's website, they combine the regional and the national and double the vote total. Essentially, that's not right. That's not the vote. The vote that matters is the raw vote, and the raw vote, the DA got just 3.5 million. And the ANC 6.4 million. Yep. They sure are leaving the final government to last. Yes, they are, Pierre Orban. We got nothing. Let me go back and check and see if anything's broken since this news came out. So let me go to News 24, or as I prefer to call it, Propaganda 24, and the IOL. Let's see what we get here. Okay. Times Live. I'll check that one too. Times Live. You can go to Business Day if you want, but they're all owned by the same company. Oh, and if people join, that's what we know about. So I did a video this morning and said, the clock is ticking. Time keeps on slipping. Wow, I thought we'd have more viewers at this hour, but we don't. Probably because people are on the road right now. Hopefully a lot of people watch this after the fact. No new developments since we came on air. Ramaphosa is going to meet with Steenhuisen for final talks. There you go. Let's read that story. 2 party leaders are said to be meeting in Cape Town before the ANC National Executive Committee meeting tonight. So they must have met already. ANC's top 7 is understood to have met on Wednesday night after back-to-back meetings with political parties. The negotiating team has met almost all political parties in its effort to construct a government of national unity. One insider said the meeting between the two parties has been necessitated by an impasse in negotiations. The DA and IFP are likely to form part of Ramaphosa's cabinet. One insider said the DA has indicated to the ANC that would want to occupy the National Assembly Speaker position. Yeah, of course they would. The DA has had a federal executive meeting Thursday. ANC already sealed a deal in KZN. Yep. With the IFP and with the DA. So there you go. Well, that's what's going on with that. So the Chief Justice Raymond Zondo has declined Bantu Holomisi's. Megan Sally says, "Hey Chris, I'm disappointed that I didn't pop in the top end. So hope you enjoy this weekend." I'm very disappointed too, Megan. In fact, I'm going to take you to task for that. Why didn't you come? I won't be back to the Eastern Cape on this trip, so sorry about that, folks. We did have a lekker meet and greet. It wasn't a large group of people there, but it was still fun nonetheless. Zondo declines Holomisi's request for intervention ahead of the GNU conclusion, Government of National Unity. So I'm going to have to find a picture of a new, that's an animal, because tomorrow we'll have a new. You mentioned News 24 as propaganda. Why is it your point of view? Okay, sure. Let me get back to that and read your comment there. So 35 Rand from Megan. That's her I didn't show up cash. Thank you for that. Herman and Walter was. Hey, Herman, are you back home in the States? No, I'm here, Herman. I'm in Northcliffe. You must have just tuned in. I'm in Northcliffe, and I'll be in Gauteng until the 19th. Now I adjusted my schedule. I wound up getting having 2 rental cars. Hopefully I get a rebate, but refund, but I don't know if that's going to happen. So Talon Bezuidenhout says, you mentioned News 24 as propaganda 24. Why is that your point of view? Is it like CNMC would like to hear? Well, fine. It's my pleasure. News 24. There's another super chat from Civ. Thanks for your work. Thank you for that, Civ. 200 Rand. Appreciate it very much. So it is my point of view, and people are welcome to disagree with it. It's a news organization. It's a profitable business. Koos owns the damn thing. By the way, they're ending 4 of their publications. I don't know if you guys saw that. Yeah, let's take a look at that. But let me finish the story first. So the problem with News 24 is Adrien Basson is far less than truthful, or I'd say he's disingenuous in his analysis, and he's politically left, and he tries to pretend he's not. And he's not alone. I mean, News 24 runs stories that are just full of poppycock and innuendo and false statements and misleading things all the time. And of course, they print things from Melanie Vervoort, and most of what she writes is just drivel. Just living off the name. It's not even her surname. It's a married surname. So, petrol money to come to the farm. It's hunting season. Yeah, Herman, I'll have to look at that, how I can do that. Tuesday, I have to be in Joe Berg interview, do a session with Roman Kabanak from Morning Shot. We're going to have a session. We'll talk on Tuesday. And people have been asking me to come to the Vol. And so I've got to figure out whether I can get to the Vol or not. The time for me to go to the Vol is probably on Sunday. So if it would work out that I came and saw you on Monday, that might work at the farm. But if Monday doesn't work, so I got to sort it out. So we'll talk, Herman. Thank you for being here. Okay, so super chat's coming in from some folks. Pretoria meet and greet, I'll be there, says Reddick. Okay, well, we're going to set one up. Shane Pigeon, I stay in KZN and work in Durban Central. Should I be prepared for so? Shane, you just need to keep your spidey sense about you, and you need to be prepared for trouble. The police actually in the military are paying attention this time, unlike last time when they ignored it. So that may have a dampening effect on it. And also, I think that much of what was, I hope that much of what was being done by Zuma and MK was simply blustering to see whether the authorities are going to take them seriously or not. So you may not see anything. So but be prepared. Megan says my set hoodie was in the wash. Well, you didn't have to wear it. Heino, did I answer the question well enough? That's why I call it Propaganda 24. But I read their news all the time. Every day I read News 24. I have a subscription. I pay them for their content, so that way you don't have to. I pay them so you don't have to. Yeah, let me find the story that I want to find here for you guys. Yeah, here you go. Koos Becca's Media 24 will shut down 4 newspapers, including City Press, Rapport, Beeld, and the Daily Sun. So 2 Afrikaans publications are history. They're gone. Media 24 is closing down 2 Afrikaans language publications. Wow. Sources at the media company have independently confirmed the decision has been made to close the newspapers, while the only print publication that will remain in circulation is Die Burger. Wow. That is interesting. So they must be losing money despite my subscription. I'm sorry to hear that, Propaganda 24. That's a shame. Maybe you should try telling the truth, and then you wouldn't have people running away. Right. What else we got there? So Hester's tuckered out. What else we got there? So Petrol Money, thank you for that. Okay, Ndonga's back. Ndonga is saying that Hawinga should be the speaker. Okay, well, someone else said that a while ago, and I just asked for a reason why they thought so. Does not mean to make you uncomfortable. You're a good guy and talk about things. No, PK, I'm not uncomfortable. You're inferring incorrectly. I'm not uncomfortable. Did I say something that gave you that impression? If I did, my apologies. I'm not uncomfortable at all. I'm having a good time. What else? Thank you for your input about News 24. I don't follow mainstream media. Since 2016, after Trump was elected, fake news is blatant. Yes, it is. And it's on both sides of the aisle, but especially on the left. But thank you, Heino. It's my pleasure. That's this. But look, I read the news in English, German, French, and Afrikaans every day from around the world. I read the Frankfurt Allgemeine Zeitung. I read Spiegel occasionally and others. I read Le Monde. I read from Australia, The Age. I read in the UK, The Guardian. That's amazing when I read in the UK. In South Africa, of course, I read News 24, Times Live, Business Tech, My Broadband, Independent Online, you name it. Daily Mail and Guardian, yeah, all that stuff. Yeah, and in the U.S., I have subscriptions to Wall Street Journal, to New York Times, the Washington Compost. I read the Chicago Times, the LA Times when I don't get blocked by the paywall, and of course CNN. All of these things. So yeah. I highly doubt that we'll have a DA deputy president. My friends are prematurely celebrating. Well, I don't know why you'd celebrate for being the deputy. I wouldn't celebrate for that. I'd celebrate for having the Speaker of Parliament. That's much more important than the deputy president. Nerve-wracking time, says Ursula Windsor. Okay. Michelle Fundahiva, good evening to you. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, at this hour, thank you for 122 likes. If you haven't hit the like button, take a second and smack that bad boy. But I have to take this jersey off, and I'm going to preserve this. Once again, this is just a trial run. This is my jersey, which was signed by none other than Yanni Duplessis. And it says, Mak Yal Dom Va. Make your dreams come true. Yep. So that's from Yanni Duplessis, former Lion and Shark. And Chris Murray got that for me, taken care of. So thank you so much for that. But I have to head out to rugby tonight. Randburg is playing. I'll be attending that game. So it's time for me to wrap up here. I'll probably do a late night stream later tonight. Tomorrow morning, 7:30. We'll be discussing Parliament sitting and potential government and national unity. If nothing comes out tonight, and if it does, we'll talk about it in the morning on Cliff Central. So catch me on Gareth Cliff's program, 7:30 tomorrow morning. And then if you are at Loftus on Saturday, I will be there, and I welcome you joining me. So we can say hi at Loftus. Probably do a meet and greet at Loftus Retail Park before the game. All right, folks. Thanks a lot. Justin says the speaker would be best choice as they determine what policies exactly. If the DA is smart, they want the speaker, not the deputy president. If they're serious about it, the deputy president should come from the opposition. Siabonga Noxmolo, the president should come from the IFP. Valentin Hlabisa should be the next president. Not Ramaphosa, not Steenhuisen. Hlabisa. That's what's credible. All right. That's it. I'll see you guys later. Yep. Enjoy the school rugby. Thanks a lot, everybody. God bless. Take care. Be sure to hit the like button. 134 likes and a little bit of super chat. Thank you all for the super chat revenue. Bye, donkey. Merci, no fly. Vielen Dank. Okay. Ciao, everybody. Catch you later. God bless. Have a good evening.